Hello,
Hi.
everybody.
Hi,
Hi.
everybody. Sorry I'm late. I had mom
Oh.
things.
There are perks to having mom even closer by, and then there are distractions. So it
There really
happens.
are. I'm so sorry. Between me trying to film, I filmed this and
Oh,
I
wait.
was trying to get this filmed.
Wait,
And
what do
then
I,
what happened?
wait, what is going on? Oh, I'm sorry. I think my Twitter had the video open at the same time. If y'all heard me of
Oh.
that, I'm not sure what was happening there. Apologies. I hadn't looked at Twitter in hours. I just still had the tab open. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I filmed this look and I figured I would have just enough time to finish and then like show for the live. So while I'm trying to get filming, my mom's asking me what I want for dinner. And I'm like, whatever. So then I'm like, I'll just take Bo out now. And then that took longer because she was asking all these questions. And I'm like, ah. So, hi, Angela. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
There's so many of you. Wow. There's already 31 of you in here. That's awesome. Awesome. If you have not already, please hit the thumbs up button because that helps
Yes.
to push it into the algorithm. And if any of you can, share this video, let people
Yeah.
know that we are here and we are alive. I'm sorry
Yes.
I'm late.
Alive human beings that do makeup and talk about things.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Gabby, this sounds amazing. I'm writing my midterm on the inclusion of trans women of color in the current wave of feminism, but I'm listening.
Ooh,
Sending
yes.
you all the good vibes, good feelings about that.
Ooh, that's a 5 for 5 topic right there if I've ever heard one.
And this,
Yes.
yes.
So,
Uh,
one of the reasons we wanted to talk about skincare pet peeves is because there's so much that goes around, right? Even down to ingredients like what's good for you. One minute everybody's talking about mango juice on your face. The next minute people are talking about hyaluronic acid. The next somebody's talking about doing like vampire shit. Like there's so many different things to go with your
bee
skin.
venom, all this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Putting your own pee on your face, that was a thing. Like I'm dead ass serious. It was on Oprah, I believe, and also Eric Nies, who was on MTV's Real World, who was also on that MTV. He had that MTV workout thing. Like there's so many different things. Hey, Viv, all the way from Sydney. So the thing about that,
Oh, that's
ooh,
amazing.
welcome, Nikki. I'm so glad. I'm like trying to. My
Yes.
mouse is like in an awkward position. I need to move it so then that way I can do
Heather.
things.
Oh, yes. And Bethany, the esthetician, for 24 years. Look at that. I have my whole face but no hair, so I'm not dropping into this one. That's okay. That is okay. Would never spring it
Listen,
on
mine
you
is all just
randomly.
tomorrow is hair day. Your girl is looking like
Yes.
book a bop. Lisa Marie. Yeah. See, Tajaria knows. She knows. Like they know. There was P-face people. These people existed. Like this was a thing. And
I feel that to my core.
aren't we all always pretending to work? I mean, I'm regularly pretending like I have a job, like because I don't. Anyways,
You are working though. You are working,
I
so
am working. I am working. You're right. But like, it gets annoying, right? Because you're sitting there and you have your skincare stuff and it's working for you. And then somebody tells
welcome,
you
Christina.
hyaluronic acid is terrible for your skin. And it's not like face wipes, hyaluronic acid, most ingredients in skincare are subjective anyway, right?
Seriously.
So somebody comes and says that, and then all of a sudden you have all your hyaluronic acid products, and you're like, oh, I guess it's not good anymore. And then you get rid of them and jump onto the new thing. So we wanted
Yeah.
to talk about this so that y'all don't like, I know a lot of y'all in here are super savvy and super smart. So I know so I don't end up looking. I just about died.
Welcome, Chris.
I know.
Welcome. You're used to it though. This is Laguna, so you know.
Hold on 1 second. I am there we go. Because I feel like we only had like one, so I'm adding. So and you should have like a wrench
Oh, that's
now.
great.
So I added you in there. And if I need I'll add one more. Angela. All right, and Angela, you'll also have one. All right.
awesome.
Rock and roll, because I was like, oh, I don't want Chris to be doing this all by herself.
One
um,
mod, one wrench is never enough. Let's just say that.
it really
Oh, and
isn't.
Faye. Faye just walked in the door. Yes.
Oh, hi, Faye.
Faye is
Did you see me?
requesting
I shouted
Majum.
you out. I shouted you out in my video. Was that today? Did I have a video today?
Yeah, Bops and Flops. Yes, you did.
I
You
did.
did.
Okay, so I shouted. Yes, that was today. All the days are running together. So my first number one pet peeve right now is the argument over fragrance. Because I get it, there's varying different reactions. There are people who have an actual allergy
Yeah.
to fragrance, like specific fragrances, and since like Emily had told me, they don't necessarily list out all of the fragrances.
Yeah.
Then you people who have an actual allergic reaction, not just a
Hey,
reaction, which is
Christine.
different. Hey, Christine, which is completely different. Those folks do not use fragrance, right? They don't want
Yeah.
things with fragrance. And they also know the difference between added fragrance and fragrance free, because fragrance free does not mean it doesn't smell like anything. It just means they
Yeah.
didn't add fragrance. So this debate over fragrance has gotten pretty heated. And I'm just like, I'm not really, me personally, I'm not bothered by fragrance. I don't have an allergic reaction, and I don't just have a reaction to it in general. The only
Yeah.
reaction I ever have to fragrance is if it's too fragrant and I'm like, oh, my nostrils, that is
Yeah.
too much. But I don't have, Bo, stop, baby. You're not getting
I,
any snacks.
I know that can also be an issue, fragrance triggering migraines. So it's not even
Exactly.
just about skincare. It could be about perfume, shampoo, any of the things.
Yeah. So
Oh,
see, exactly. So like
yeah.
Nikki is bringing up the actual, like the real reason that fragrance became an issue, because here is the thing, there are scientists who spent multiple years studying your chemistry, how your skin's going to react to stuff. I'm telling you, if fragrance was inherently bad for your skin, they would not be putting it in some very good products. Okay, there are very, very good products. They have fragrance in it, and they do wonders for a lot of people, but it doesn't mean that like fragrance is bad. So
Hey, Tracy.
then
uh,
he gets it after the fact because that encourages him to continue to be a good boy.
I think fragrance is a tricky thing because, like, as you can see, a lot of people do have reactions, whether it's allergic or bodily reactions to fragrance. But I think it's interesting how reactions have turned into it's terrible for your skin, never put it on
Yes.
there. And that's where
Yes.
I'm like, I don't, the dots, I mean, and the thing that I keep hearing is that if it's something that sits on your skin long term, you should probably avoid fragrance. But if it's something you're washing off, it's fine. But I guess I just don't see the big deal myself.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I totally get people who have allergic reactions and reactions, right?
Yeah.
If you just have a reaction, like I think Tropicat was up there talking about redness from fragrance, I get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I completely understand you being like, yeah, I don't want, there we go, because my mouse is in like a precarious position. Um, but and so I totally get that. I get you not wanting it for those reasons. What I don't understand is, like you said, it's turned into people having reactions and allergens to it's bad for your skin. And you're like, wait, hold on. Please pause. Um, because a lot of skincare ingredients, like if they didn't put some fragrance in it, fucking stinks. And I have run into some of that. And let me just tell you, it made me gag. There was
Yeah.
a face oil or something that I had, and this video was a while back, and I like it was when I was in my old place. I was gagging from the smell. Like I was just visibly, and you
Yeah.
could hear it and see it in my face. I was like, because it stunk so bad. So there's just
Yeah.
kind of like a different feel. But for me, I just don't like it to be too fragrant, and I don't like it in my moisturizer. So
Hmm.
there can be a fragrance, just like like the natural fragrance, but not added
Yeah.
fragrance for me. Because it's my moisturizer, it's going to be on my face, and I'm going to have to sniff that for a while. And if I'm trying to go to sleep, absolutely not. Like I can't go to bed.
That's interesting. Well, and I think Viv ties it well into this the same debate about preservatives. Some may cause a reaction for some people, but they also stop the product from going off. And it's like I've personally had more products. Okay, my skin is very normal. It's not really
Yeah.
reactive. It has a little bit of, it can get a little oily, but it's pretty much just normal. And so I don't have sensitive skin and I don't have like sensitivities. So I've not reacted to like preservatives or fragrances, but I've definitely had products go off on me, not realize totally that they've gone off, use them, and then my skin is like, whoa, like what's going on
Yeah.
here? So
Yeah.
I do think um I do think it's kind of frustrating that it's like, oh, this is all terrible and never have it. Because like you said, sometimes the natural fragrance is pretty gross. Or also the other part of it that I think about is that there are so many other things. So this ties to this thought. So Taylor said YouTube tells us fragrance over time makes your skin more sensitive. And I don't think that's I mean that could totally be happening, but at the same time there are other things added to our skincare that could also be sensitizing us. Like, I think I heard James Welsh mention it, but he's not the only person I've heard mention it, where it's like you might have a product that doesn't have fragrance. Like, this is a random one I picked up. It's a mask I have. But they might have put something in this to make it, they might have put something to thicken it or to thin it,
Yeah.
or like to make the feel of the product different, to make the color different. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
all these other additives that can be in your skincare. And I think my pet peeve is that not looking at that too and then saying,
Correct.
okay, is that sensitizing your skin over time? Are these issues, just like with the preservative conversation? And I think that there's this like, it goes into the trend conversation of, it's trendy to talk about being fragrance free. Certain ingredients are trendy. And it's like, it's skincare. Why are we
Yeah, and
listening to trends?
the thing about sensitivity, and I can tell you from my personal experience with sensitivity to like my skin used to be very, very sensitive. But you change and your skin sloughs off. And as you age, your
Yeah.
skin changes all the time, right? So there's people in this chat, I guarantee you right now, who weren't allergic to something or did not have a reaction to one ingredient some time ago. Now that same ingredient bothers them.
Yeah.
Your skin just changes and what your skin likes changes. So a lot of times for me, like some reactions that I have are just generally because like my skin's like, I don't like this. Don't use it. And like,
Well,
oh,
also,
okay. And
your
some of
body
it's just
changes
new.
too. Like,
Yeah.
you could
Your
become
hormones
allergic
change.
to a food that you were never allergic to all of a sudden, or a whole group of foods. It's just part of like aging. And I feel like, I think of it as like life cycles. It's like part of like, you've hit a different cycle in your life, and now
Yeah.
you're allergic to a certain fragrance, or you're allergic to mushrooms, or you can't handle this or that or the other.
First of all, Natalie, I
Oh,
absolutely love that Daria is your
yes.
Abby. Like, yes.
Perfect.
You had to stop using it because it outright smelled like fish. Oh, gross. Oh God. And it lasted on your skin for hours. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, there's because like your pet peeve, especially like with the trends and why we're looking at trends, like that's why this bothers me because it reminds me so much of gluten free, right? There was a point where
Yes.
there are genuinely people who have a gluten intolerance or allergy. And they're two, like, again, those are two different things. They have an
Yeah.
intolerance or they have an allergy. but then everything became gluten free. And like there's shit that's gluten free where I'm like, why is it gluten free? Like my skincare, I was reading off of that and it said it was gluten free, and I was just kind of confused. I was like, are we putting wheat in there?
Well, I think there are body and skincare products that have wheat in them, so they need to be like it needs to be
oh,
labeled. But the thing with gluten free that always annoyed me was that it turned into this diet, this fad
yes,
diet. And so
it
it
turned
turned
into
into the healthy choice. And I'm like, you're still eating carbs. It's
yeah,
like it's not spelt flour. Maybe it's like millet, or like I did some gluten free baking in my past. I'm like, it's still a carb. It's still a grain. It just doesn't have gluten. That doesn't change. Like, yes, it's more whole grains that you're eating, but it's not magically like better for you because it's free.
yes. And so I
Yeah,
feel like people are running around trying to get fragrance free for the wrong reasons, not because
yeah.
they have any reaction, it's not bothering them in any way. And yet there they are like, oh, I only get fragrance free. And you're like, but has it ever bothered
Oh,
you before?
that is interesting. I hadn't thought
That's
about
true.
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, there's because like literally, like honestly, the things that I see that have gluten free on that, I'm so confused because there's stuff like there's weird stuff where I'm like, it never had gluten in it in the first place. Why are you advertising it as gluten free? Like it never had it. So like if it never had it, you don't even need to put gluten free on it. Like
yeah,
the only reason you're putting it on
exactly.
there is for the
This.
fad people.
It's marketing. It's a marketing
Yes,
thing. And sometimes I think about that with fragrance free skincare or skincare that's a certain X, Y, or Z thing,
yeah,
preservative free or whatever. It's like it always was this. Am I
yes,
angry at businesses for being businesses and marketing the way they need to? Not really. I'm more frustrated at like the extremist in the situations of just like, oh well, everything should be everything should be gluten free or everything should be preservative free or everything should be fragrance free. And here's because it's a trend, it's gonna swing to a different thing. It's gonna swing to a
yeah,
different thing. It's gonna just
exactly.
like how CBD is a trend, fragrance free is going to be a trend, and then in a year no one's going to care because this new acid is the trend or this new
Yeah,
mask is the trend. And that's where I get really frustrated because your skin is your own. No one's skin is alike. Like no one person's
correct.
skin is like another. And so all of these people saying, well, I bought this because it's fragrance free and it's great on me, or I bought this because of this, or I bought this because of that, influencing you to go out and change your whole skincare routine. It's just more reasons of it's more money wasted.
Yeah, and so then that like the fact like now I can't remember who said that, but YouTube tells us that comment. That is my other big
Yeah.
pet peeve. And thank you, Felisa. My a huge pet peeve of mine is there you are, perfectly fine in your skincare routine. You're not having any issues. You're not having any problems. Your skin is looking fantastic. You look amazing. You're happy with it. And then somebody on YouTube tells you that this product isn't good anymore for whatever reason. Here is the thing, if it works for you, keep doing it. It's no different than anything else in your life, right? If you are, trying to lose weight and that is your thing, and you walk 5 miles every single day and you continue to eat pounds of bread, and somebody tells you, well, you could lose much more weight if stopped eating the bread, but you've been losing steadily good weight eating those pounds of bread, keep eating the fucking bread. And that's how I feel about your
Yeah.
skincare. Like if I'm sitting here going like, I don't like this because it does this to my skin. Like we've seen people who've talked about the Fenty skincare already. Some people were like, the fragrance broke me out and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Other people had a really great experience with it. So it's like, do not allow all of us talking heads on YouTube
Yeah.
to make you change what was working for you. It's like that's so much. Oh my gosh, I have so much snail shit. Listen, Viv, same boat because I'm an old bitch. I'm a resident old bitch of YouTube, and I'm buying everything I can. Because
For
one cannot
anti-aging. Yeah.
exist on the blood of my enemies and virgins alone because there's virgins are hard to come by. First of all, in 2020,
And
but
contacts and things are hard to do.
yeah,
And I have to agree with Sherry is that there's this lack of regulation. And so anyone can say anything on
yeah,
labels and in marketing, and that's where like I get frustrated because I'm just like, okay, so you're telling me it's gonna reduce wrinkles or it's gonna reduce pore size. I'm sorry, that's not possible.
It is not possible.
Pores are your pores are your pores.
Correct. Your
You can
pores are going to be your pores. They're never going to get
like
smaller.
it is what it is. But this is interesting. I never thought about this with shampoo. You could like if you have gluten allergies, if you things that you could inhale that I never
Yeah.
thought about with shampoo. That's so interesting. But yeah, I think I'm just tired of the like using marketing to sell something that can actually damage you, like damage your skin, damage your like affect your if you
Yes.
get breakouts, if you get acne, like using it to affect something that is also such a huge part of yourself because it's your face. And
Yes.
even in the midst of COVID, your face is still an important part of like if you have work calls, if you this or that. So it's not like, oh, it's just, it's just your arms or it's just your it's like it's your face.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's why even when I was talking about the blood peel, the Ordinary's blood peel, right?
yeah.
One of the main things I said immediately was like, don't go in hard with this if you've never used a peel, a chemical peel before, because you can fuck yourself up. You know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
don't, you, if you put that on your face and you're like, it says 10 minutes, like, don't just sit there for 10 minutes. If after 30 seconds you're like, okay, this is a little much, take it off your face, like, just immediately.
Yeah.
But to your point where you were talking about, like, they can say anything, like, clean beauty is not a thing. FYI. That is another pet peeve of mine
Yes.
because clean beauty is not a thing. Um, they're using the term clean, but who's determining what's clean? No one. There's no board of clean beauty. There's no one dictating what constitutes what products are clean and what are not. No one. So you could literally, like, anybody right now could just say, it's clean beauty and slap that on there because they just don't have like a preservative. They're like, it's clean.
Yeah.
And people are buying this. And that really bothers me because it's giving this illusion, first of all, that clean is better, but most importantly, that chemicals are bad. Chemicals aren't bad.
Yes.
I'm made up of chemicals.
Literally
Like,
everyone is made up of chemicals. Everything you ingest, everything like it's all chemicals. That is a pet peeve. We're just like if you tell me chemicals are bad, you cannot sell me anything because every single like know your science. I'm sorry, just like set me off. Like
yes.
know your science. And if you're sitting here like it's no chemicals, it's like then you're not selling me anything. You're not
And
even
then
selling me
all
air.
natural. All natural. Hey, guess what? Poop. Poop is all natural.
Yeah.
We do that every day. Well, most of us do. Some of y'all don't, but I'm 40. At 40, you do it every day. So,
And
I mean,
exactly
poop is all
this, like
natural, pee is all natural. There's so many, like,
coconut oil is all natural. Don't put that
thank
on your
you.
skin, in my opinion.
I
This is the
agree.
thing too, is that all these brands that are clean and natural, there's okay, so like I know I'm not a Lush shopper, but I know that they sell certain things and they sell them in the refrigerator. They are masks that are refrigerated. And
Yep.
so it's like clearly this is part of the marketing. Put this in the refrigerator, use it within 2 weeks. But all of these clean brands that are being sold in glass jars on shelves. You don't know how long they've been on the shelf. You don't know how long
Correct.
some brands have put like when it was created kind of dates, but they don't necessarily have set like shelf life. Like a lot of the shelf life labels are based on when you open it. But if you're a really clean brand and you've been sitting in Sephora for the last 6 months while no one's shopping and we open back up and you go buy $150 worth of skincare, that could go bad in a very short period of time. And what are you going to do and be like, oh, well, I guess I have to go buy more of it and spend more money?
Mhm.
Like, yes, obviously, I don't want a million preservatives in there for no reason or things to be like so jacked up in terms of formula that it's barely even any active ingredients. But I also don't need you to like mush up avocado and lemon juice and sell me that in a jar. Also,
Right?
don't
Like,
put lemon juice on your face.
please
Don't
don't.
put lemon
James is
juice on your
gonna like
face.
Hiram said it, like these people, this is true. Do not like fruits in general, like especially acidic fruits, don't slap that shit on your face. It's like that's not good
Yeah.
because chemicals are bad, okay? And
Yes.
yeah, don't drink your piss.
Yeah.
Uh I mean, you can technically because pee is in fact sterile, but that is a horrible idea. I don't think it'll taste good.
Yes, and now I want guacamole. Eat it, don't put it on your face.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to click that like that.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, so that like that whole idea of like natural and clean, those things are things they really, really bother me because like you get it. Like, listen, I had this face
She is
mask and it
clean.
smelled like
Caroline.
freaking vegetables. And I don't like this was a case where I was like, there needs to be a fragrance because this is gross. I didn't, there was just something about my face smelling like a vegetable bowl that just bothered me every time I tried to use this mask. Now, this mask was quite nourishing, it was very lovely. But I mean, and I'm not talking about like fresh cut vegetable bowl, like all of the vegetables, not just what, but and like
See, I
green
like that.
vegetables.
So the pharmacy green clean, the balm cleanser, that is quite expensive, but it is quite nice, but I won't buy it again because I now know better. Has that kind of green vegetal smell. And I actually like it because it's a change from so many other scents.
Yeah.
Yes, this also. That's hilarious. Um, I also love this.
Tracy.
Summon an angry James Welsh. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just cut a lemon in half and just scrub it on my face. No, thank you. No.
We're not like how do you no, if you want to summon James Welsh, I think that to summon him, you need Korean skincare and K-pop. I'm pretty sure if you have
I'm
those two
halfway
things.
there.
So you need some K-pop, like somebody get some K-pop going and we can like summon him. Um, Robert's a little harder to summon, I believe, but anyways, because it's like, well, I mean, honestly, I have enough purple makeup, so I think that I can summon Robert as
Yeah,
well. Like,
yeah. I
I have a
have
lot of
black
purple
lipstick and
makeup.
purple makeup.
I have ghosts and I have sprites, which have currently vacated for a small period of time. We'll see when they come back. But I have like, so I can, we can summon them, but like right now it's what is that? What's 6 plus 8? 14? Is that
14.
true?
Yeah,
So then
14.
that's what,
It's
2
3
a.m.?
a.m. It's almost 3 a.m.
It's
Yeah.
almost 3 a.m. there. Yeah.
Also, don't put walnuts on your face.
Oh my God. Listen, so here's what I'm going to tell you. When it comes to physical exfoliants, this is another huge clicking. How about I just click my nails?
Yeah.
Which I just got like, listen,
Those are Robert nails. The
I
both
got
sets you
bougie.
got.
I just got, uh, uh, bougie
Thank you,
bitch.
Abby Williamson, Polish 13 or 13, Polish by 13 or whatever.
Yes, it's
And I'm
yeah. Yes,
and
it
I'm
is. Oh,
wearing a set that Audrey was actually wearing last week. That's cheap drugstore.
so this happened by basically a super fun game of telephone. Abby Williamson told Emily, who told me about Polished 13, and
Yes.
I bought some, and it's the shit. And they are Polish 13 on Instagram. So if you want to like they're pretty boss ass nails. This girl is like on
Sherry.
some shit. So no nuts on your face. You know what? It just depends on the
We are
day.
in the
Anyways,
gutter. Yeah, we are in the gutter.
yeah, I was
Um,
just like, and I took these off and I didn't have nails on. I tried to like use my phone. I couldn't grasp anything. I don't know what's happened, but I guess I've changed my tactile because when I first started wearing these long nails, I couldn't even pick up Bo's poop. It was like a whole ass struggle. And now it's not a struggle. And like it was hard just trying to do things with my normal hands because I was like,
how do I be? What do I do?
how do I person? But yeah, I don't know. Skincare is just one of those things where there's so many things that they don't tell you. Like for instance, a lot of expensive skincare, and this is a huge pet peeve of mine, look at the fucking ingredients and compare it to something that might be cheaper and the same. All right. Now, obviously, the ingredient mix is going to be different, but like I have some water creams where I'm just like, what the fuck is the difference between this one, and this one? Not much.
I do
Not
think
much.
there's an interesting thing to figure out, like quality level, because I know that
Yeah.
like certain brands are going to be buying at a different quality level than other
Yeah.
brands. But I think that's when like, okay, if it's a toner hydrating situation, I feel like I'm pretty solid with like Korean skincare. I'm sure there's good like drugstore, but I'm really leaning on Korean skincare these days. If I want
Yes.
a treatment, something that has active like acids or other things, that's kind of when I tend to spend a little bit more money.
Yeah.
And I think that can be the difference because like an extreme comparison using something like Sunday Riley Good Genes versus using the I call it the blood mask from the ordinary are just like two extremes of intensity and also like cosmetic elegance and
Yeah.
just like ease of use. So
Okay. No, go ahead.
I don't know. Yeah. So I just think it's an interesting thing to I kind of get a pet peeve though when somebody's like, oh well, this thing and this thing have the same ingredients. So it's the same, even though there's like $100 price
Yeah.
difference. I'm
It's
like,
not the same
mm,
because,
similar but not the same.
well, and two, first of all, I can't get over how beautiful Dion is.
Oh
It's like,
yeah,
it's just too
Dion.
much.
Sorry about that.
It was just too much. Like, I was just looking at it because I was just like,
Gorgeous,
wow.
gorgeous.
Um, like, I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, let me just go try again with my makeup. No, but,
Like
but
completely just changed my face, please. Thank you.
well, yeah, because so like Gabby here has a really good point, which is to me,
Yeah,
American skincare is overpriced unless it's a small business. And
yeah,
yeah, so here's the thing. To Emily's point, the same ingredients don't mean the same. It's the same with makeup. Just because the ingredients are the same doesn't mean it's the same. But what I tend to do is like look at the order of ingredients because that's something that I have
yeah,
learned. If the ingredients are kind of in the same order, then you're starting to realize like, okay, these two things are really, really similar
yeah,
in their makeup. It may not be perfect, but if this one is $75 and this one is 30, I'm going to get the $30 one.
yeah,
So you kind of look at that and you go the top 10 ingredients. Well, I like to look at the top 7, but the top 7 ingredients are the
yeah,
same, and they put them in the same order because typically the order is how much it's concentrated. It doesn't always go that way, but the order is like the
yeah.
concentration.
It should legally go that way until you get down to 1%, and then
Yeah.
they don't have to put it in order. I will say, there was a good comment about okay, so I've not tried Good Molecules, and I'm side eyeing Beautylish right now, and Beautylish owns Good Molecules.
Yep.
But I hope Good Molecules doing this thing that I'm about to describe sets a trend. Good Molecules' recent packaging has started listing all ingredients in their product by percentage. So you see
Mm-hmm.
everything it is. It's kind of like when you see a nutritional label and it's like, 2% vitamin E, whatever.
Yes.
It's literally every ingredient, but it's broken down by percentage. So you can look at something and know, oh, that's 75% water. But then
Yeah.
the other 10 ingredients are these different percentages. I really
Yeah.
hope that sets the trend and sets the tone, especially for like mid-range price products. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily care that much about drugstore. I don't necessarily care that much about the super bougie skincare, but that mid-range,
Night,
I'm looking at
Lisa.
that. Oh yeah, good night, Lisa. So I'm looking at that and like that's the kind of thing that I would love to see happen more in the industry, or just see Beautylist drop Pastel Skeletor and then I would buy from them. But
I
you
would
know,
too. That's why I haven't gotten like I wanted to buy some Sonia G brushes,
yeah.
but they're on Beautylish and I won't buy from there. But yeah, so
Oh, that's
I
interesting.
really
Okay.
do think that skincare should do this and for all. And here's why. Because even people who have a bit of a reaction to fragrance, if one they knew the percentage that actually bothers them. Because like they're like for me,
Yes.
there's a level of fragrance that actually bothers me, and then there's a level
Yeah.
that doesn't. Like even and then there's certain smells that bother me. So
Hmm.
there are scents that um when I smell like when somebody walks by me wearing that particular perfume, I'm just like, what the fuck? I hate you so much. I hope you die. Like that's where I get so
Just
mad
like,
because
die,
I'm
die,
like enraged by that
die.
smell. Like it makes me so angry. Like it makes me violent, right?
Yeah.
So I really do wish that they would do that because there are people who like even people whose skin is
Baby.
tough as shit and have normal skin. If you knew the AHA, BHA levels of a peel, for instance, and you
Yes.
knew the percentages like that you've worked with before and what you're going to now, like that would help people so much with not destroying their skin.
Yeah.
Because like that kind of stuff really just messes people's skin up. Because that's why I said like when you, for those who had never used a chemical peel before, you tried the ordinary. Because I know Angela was like saying, you know, the blood peel didn't do anything for her. It's all right. I'm kind of like falling off of the ordinary right now, but
Oh wait, where is that? This is what I wanted to highlight. Perfume rage is a big mood. I
it
agree.
really
I
is.
agree.
And so like with that being the case, I just feel like if you knew, okay, you know, if I have this percentage of added fragrance, it's going to bother me, but anything
Yeah.
below this is actually not gonna bother me, then that like opens up people's ability to purchase because right now people are just going, it says fragrance, it says it has fragrance, I can't buy it because they don't know how
Yeah.
much it is. And they can't just you can't just be standing in the store like some weirdo, especially with COVID now, just being like and sniffing everything, right? So like that was always weird. That
And
was
and
always
I
weird as the
and
person
I
who did it.
and I think there are certain like I as well, Nikki said eucalyptus. So I just dislike the smell of eucalyptus. I dislike the smell of lavender. Most floral perfumes I fucking hate. Like I just
Yeah.
cannot do it if it's I don't like rose, I don't like lavender, I don't like a lot of powdery floral scents. And even for me, so like um the Uma foundation is one of the most fragranced item that I have. He's trying to eat my Tyrion is literally like my rubber earbuds are his drug, and he will do anything he can to get them. Sorry about that. I just needed to stop him before he completely eats them. But the Uma Foundation, it's like one of the few highly fragranced products that the smell dissipates quickly, so it doesn't bother me. It's a smell though that normally I'd be like, I rebuke thee, but it's a really great formula, so I'm still using it. Do I wish it wasn't highly fragranced? Yes. Do I wish it was a different fragrance? Yes. But I really like it, so I'm dealing with it. But if it was a regular like skincare product, I would probably just be like, you know what, I'm gonna switch to something different. Like
Well,
I'm okay.
and see, I just because you said you don't like the smell of rose, so I was telling a
Yeah.
friend of mine because I recognize scents in the type of person that I run into that wears it. So I said I told them that let me see where it went because I had to find it because I have to say it just the way that I put it. The smell of rose reminds me of an elderly, judgmental British lady. That is the smell of
Yes.
rose. Now,
Yes.
the smell like white diamonds is a very particular smell. And white diamonds is an older Southern woman with big blonde hair, black roots. Nobody knows why they're still black, but she's got black roots with bejeweled crosses on her jeans. She normally has bejeweled crosses on the back pockets of her jeans. And she normally also wears leopard print tops and jangly as fuck jewelry. That is the smell of white diamonds.
Yes, it is. It
So,
is.
like,
And I will say with Anne, I completely agree. I don't understand why it's like this goes back to the labeling thing. I don't understand why they could just use generic fragrance as a term
yeah,
when there are such specific allergies out there, and that
I know.
can range so much. And also, like if you don't want to use citrus oils because they can be also reactive or I think sensitizing over time, but that's just a random fragrance that's used in the skincare, then yeah, I could see you being like, I'm not going to buy anything with fragrance listed because I can't trust what's inside of there.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I feel like when it comes
Also,
to
yes, that
skin,
too for white dragons.
yes,
Yes, the bejeweled jeans.
yes, it is the bejeweled jeans. Like it is them. And um the thing is when it comes to just like skincare in general, it's just like shaming people for not doing something. Like, oh, you don't use a toner? Like,
Yeah.
listen, I do that to my friends as a joke, but like in real life, I am not gonna shame someone based on like things that they do and don't do, because everyone's skin is different. Like I'm going to yell at you if you don't wash your face. That's true. Ask Kerosene. I'm gonna yell at you if you don't wash your
I
face.
was
Like
gonna
wash
bring
your
that up.
freaking
I was
face.
like, that's the only
That's why, like, that's honestly the real reason that a bitch wears primer isn't necessarily about like how my makeup's gonna lay on my face. It is in the event, especially when we were out and about in this world, I got a little too sauced and passed out. The barrier between my face and makeup is still there while I like have gone to sleep. Maybe that's what they mean by 24-hour wear. So while I've passed out from drinking
probably.
too much. So like then I still have the barrier, and like when I get up at some random time and stumble my way into the bathroom to wash my face, like it's all awesome. But I do feel like we there's a lot of skincare shaming that goes on, and a lot of
Yeah.
know-it-alls who just start jumping on people when they're like, oh, fragrance doesn't bother me, and then some know-it-all comes and says like, fragrance is terrible for your skin, and you're like, okay, they've been using it and their skin's fine. Like
Hiram.
like
Well,
please. Well, he also says though that he's aged a lot. I don't understand why he looks like a newborn baby, but like
supposedly his skincare routine has changed that. So with him, him and the fragrance thing, he has said the reason why he has such a strong stance is because his audience is very young, and for like teenagers and younger kids, I think a lot of the skincare that's out there is highly fragranced and thus can be very reactive. I can't imagine having like acne and using something highly fragranced. I feel like it would just like kill your skin in a
correct.
lot of ways. So I understand it, but I think it set this trend for everyone that feels just very, very reactive.
Yeah.
Um, and that this is actually a great idea, Nikki. I would
No,
love
we both
that.
clicked it at the same time.
I would love that. I think that would be
Yeah,
really cool to be like, this is no fragrance added. You may smell the ingredients, but there's no additional fragrance. And
correct.
then this is our classic formula with the scent that that like some of you all love and know. I mean, with the amount of online shopping that we're doing these days, it's not about shelf space. Like it's
Yeah.
literally not. Just like how you can have a product size like drop down, you can have a drop down that's fragrance free or original formula or whatever.
So like here's the other thing too, when you were talking about people like being so reactionary. One of the things I'm going to remember, like, listen, I'm not a Jaclyn Hill stan. I've never even really watched her channel, so like, I don't know what she does. The most of them I've seen of Jaclyn Hill is the things that have happened. Moving on. So there were so many people shitting on her for having like her 10-step skincare routine, right? And they were like, so many people were being dicks, like 10 steps. I mean, if that's what works for someone,
Yeah.
leave them the fuck alone. Because like I don't think people understand that skincare is also soothing. It is a nice, soothing
Yes.
thing to start your day and to end your day. So,
Yeah.
because it's soothing, a lot of people don't mind, like myself included. I don't mind having a lot of steps in my
Same.
skincare. Do you know why? Because it's very soothing. Like I used to not double cleanse. I could get my makeup off without double cleansing. Listen, I really can. It's not as easy, But the double cleanse is very soothing. I get to massage my face for a few minutes with the cleansing balm. I just massage my face into more pleasant positions, like upwards. And
Yes.
and I get to spend time just kind of relaxing. And especially when I was working and I had a very stressful job and it just was too much for me on a regular basis. It was really nice to end my day with a long
Yeah.
skincare routine where I was just like massaging my makeup off, then
Yeah.
washing my face and getting it all sudsy, and then getting that off, and then gently patting my face dry. This sounds
Yeah.
orgasmic. And then afterwards, I pat on my toner, wait for it to get a little bit dry, and put on a hydrating serum.
Since we're talking about like the process of removing your makeup and doing skincare, shall we dive into the biggest pet peeve between the two of us?
What is it?
The wipe. The
Oh,
wipe. The fucking makeup
oh my
wipes. Make
God,
them
the
stop.
makeup
Make
wipe.
them stop.
You guys, here is the thing. I'm going to tell you this right now. I have paper towels. I'm so sorry.
Massage.
I'm like, listen, that's how much I like my skincare routine, because I swear to you, like, that is, if I'm not talking to Emily during my skincare routine, I'm literally like, let me just massage my face gently. Yeah. Like, I have a whole like
Yeah.
routine where if nobody's around, I'm doing that. And I'm just like, ugh, put on the essence, girl. Yeah, feel it. You're gonna be glowing. Like, I do all this stuff and make myself happy. But wipes, fuck wipes. You guys, I use paper
Yeah.
towels. Yes, I do use paper towels. Again, I have a dog, and anybody with pets or children probably have paper towels or something similar. Here's the thing though, because I live without other people in my home, I wash my hands, okay? And you know what I do with those paper towels? I put them to the side. And I tend to like make this little stack of paper towels that I've like washed my hands with. I dry them, and I put, like, when I'm just in my house. Obviously, the ones that I use when I go outside for like COVID and shit, I fucking throw those away. But what's up, Bill? But what really gets me is, like, I use when I'm just washing my hands or doing the dishes off, I keep those paper towels, and then when I'm doing swatches or whatever, I take that paper towel and reuse it. Makeup wipes are not like that. They're
Yeah.
horrible for your skin. You're just dragging your poor innocent face skin, who's literally only existed, just like Black women. Your skin is just existing and people are fucking with it. Stop using them wipes.
Here's the thing too, is that okay, so I wanted to find, and this is no shame to you, Nikki, but I wanted to use this comment to point out. So Nikki has
Oh,
them for when she's
sorry.
going oh wait, for when she's
There we go.
going to the gym because she doesn't want to work out in makeup. Makeup wipes don't remove your makeup. They
Correct.
don't remove your makeup. They break the makeup down. And so maybe I guess if you went in with the second makeup wipe, then you could drag the broken down makeup off the skin. But I don't really think they take off that much makeup. I feel like you still, if you were doing this, I would still say maybe can you, once you do that, go to the gym and just do a quick wash so you can wash what's left over. But
Grab a
yes,
cleansing balm. For that, I honestly, instead of wipes, I would grab a cleansing
yeah,
balm and that makeup eraser. That'll
yeah.
take
So
everything off if you don't want to be at the gym in makeup. Whoosh, and then you're like good to go, and you run in the gym, and you're like good. I'm so sorry, I'm seducing y'all with my skincare voice. Apologies.
and here's the thing is that you don't need to buy like makeup eraser brand makeup wipes. makeup wipes. I have those. So I love the makeup eraser or the knockoffs. I love them for swatches. So I was telling this to Audra. So when they're wet, you can get swatches off with just a wet makeup eraser. What I tend to do if I'm doing like when I'm doing one of my overhead videos where I'm building a palette and so I'm swatching a lot, I will have just I'll have like a container, like a little tiny takeout container with warm water and just the tiniest bit of dish soap. So it's like mostly water. I'll keep the makeup eraser wipe in that. Just take it out of the water, wring it out, and use that to wipe my arm and then just dry it off either with a clean hand towel or paper towel because just a little bit of soap with the makeup eraser gets all the swatches off. If I'm just playing in my makeup, I do the same thing. I will also use the makeup eraser with my double cleanse if I feel like I want to speed it up. Because if I put on my like balm cleanser, if I want to just like grab a makeup eraser wipe, a makeup eraser and have it in warm water, I can go through and quickly take everything off without emulsifying, and then go in with my second cleanse. Or if I'm doing more of the slow process, then I usually will just with my hands with water emulsify the balm and kind of get it off in that way. So I don't know. I
Well,
think
because like
that
Bethany is saying, it makes it very obviously, but esthetician. But here's the thing. Think about it this way. If you drop foundation on your hand and then you get a little bit of cleanser and go like this, what happens? Like that, like honestly do that. Like take a little tiny, like a very dry drop of cleanser and like just go like this. You know what's gonna happen is it's going to move around. It's going to move around and it might look clean, but it's not clean.
yeah,
So for Nikki, what I would say, like I am a huge fan of cleansing balms because they get the shit off your face. And I love that for like an overnighter if you have to do one. Anyways,
yeah,
but I love a cleansing balm because it's very smooth. It comes off very, it's not harsh. And you just like kind of rub that on your face. It's very like because micellar water isn't my jam either. Micellar
yeah,
water does not
same.
work for me. Listen, my old ass is really just trying to keep like every possible wrinkle I can at bay. And it's very difficult because I have a very expressive face and mouth. So that's hard.
Yes.
But that is too harsh for me, which is one of the reasons I switched to cleansing balms. I am a huge fan of a
Yeah.
balm versus an oil. Oils are messy as fuck, but if you like an
Yeah.
oil, do you. But I personally, and I've been saying this for a little while now, I've used a cleansing oil. I used a Tatcha cleansing oil. Um, my problem with it is it's always difficult to figure out your amount because you're just pouring oil, and
Yeah.
it's very easy for you to like look away and be like, oh Jesus, and then you've got like all of the oil.
I've tried a couple of the oils and I don't find they emulsify very well, and I've tried them at different price points. I know someone earlier asked about the balms. I started using the Vanilla and Co Clean at Zero because of Audra, but I've also tried the Heimish, which is a Korean skincare brand. Their balm I really like. The Physician's Formula balm is fine, but I think it's expensive for what you're getting. I liked the pharmacy Clean at Zero, but it's also expensive for what you're getting. So I think I'm probably gonna stick with either Vanilla and Co. or Heimish, depending on
Yeah, because
the
I mean, my Vanilla
situation.
Glow lasted me. The first time I bought it was in January, and I
Yeah,
didn't run out until like mid-May
yeah,
is
exactly.
when I ran out of it. And that was me using it on a nightly basis because I put on makeup every day to go work in a sweatshop, basically.
Yeah,
Like
and
not a sweatshop, but I call it that because I was sweating my fucking balls off. And I don't have balls, but if I did, I was sweating them off, and that's why I don't have them anymore.
and the other thing I would say, so I don't know, Bethany, if or somebody can I'm with Micellar Water. I don't use it anymore. I have a tiny container of like a travel size container of the the Bioderma one, and I'll grab it every once in a while. But I also heard that you should be washing that off afterwards as well. Is that correct? So like once I heard that, I was like, okay, it's basically feels like it's the same thing as like as a makeup wipe. So
Yeah.
And also, if you don't like the feeling of the makeup eraser, you might also want to look into just cotton, like flannel or like cotton, like reusable. They a lot of Etsy shops are making like reusable cotton rounds, so you could use that also to help perhaps take off makeup if you don't like the feel of the polyester fibers of the makeup eraser.
And I'm
Uh,
such a nut. So first of all, I'm like really like I've been looking over at the chat. I'm loving how many of you guys have like your standbys,
yeah,
and it's making me so happy because again, like I'm loving that people have their standby and they're not just like, oh, well, you use that, then I guess I should use this. Like that's my favorite
yeah,
thing. But when it comes to like, so when I wash my face. First of all, like I'm a hand person. I used to use cotton rounds. I stopped using them though because I just started to realize like I needed to work on pressure. So one of my biggest pet peeves,
yeah,
another skincare pet peeve I have is how very few skincare enthusiasts talk about the pressure of your fingers.
yeah,
And this needs to be like a regular conversation because if we're all going in, like, this is one of the reasons why we do, like, I stopped washing my face in the shower. I used to do that so often, but also it was because I was crunched for time. So at the
mm,
time that I was washing my face in the shower, I was literally working like a 14, 15-hour day. I just didn't have time to do anything but like get home, let Bo out, come, like, get back in, take a shower, wash my face, and get in bed. So one of the things, even if you're using cotton rounds and all that good stuff, I highly recommend you get tactile with your face. I know people like your hands, your oils. I wash my hands before. I
we're trying. We're
we are
trying.
trying. I recognize that, you could, but I wash my hands before I wash my face. And one of the things I really started learning to do and have been doing for the past 2 years now is really being tactile with my face. One, because I can recognize when I am putting too much pressure on a portion of my face for one reason or another. And I'm like, oh, slow down. And it actually causes me to slow down on my skincare routine, which
Yeah,
is something I don't necessarily always get when I'm using a cotton round, which I have used those for years. And
yeah,
I just don't use them as much. I started really using my hands, and that tactile sensation really helped me to stop like dragging everything
yeah,
across my face in this horrible way. And I think that that's a thing that we all need to like. I love it. And I think more of
yeah,
us should get better at understanding the pressure that you're putting on your face, because we go in and we start washing our faces, and so many of us are just like like and doing this like hard motion around our eyes, and we don't realize that we're like pushing too hard. And then as you get better with your tactile, like with just your hands, you transfer that when you start using cotton rounds
yeah,
again. So when you start using them, you have that same like, wait, I don't want to use too much pressure, because you can feel
yeah.
it and you can, I don't know. That's
You just
that's
you're
amazing
training yourself. Don't say I don't know. You're training yourself. Um,
though.
by the way, hi Annabelle and hi Angie. Oh, that's so sweet. And also, I wanted to clarify, like when I
Hi,
say cotton
Annabelle.
rounds, I don't mean like the disposable ones. I mean like if I was going to switch to something besides a makeup eraser, what I would probably do is a couple of people mentioned bamboo.
Mm,
That bamboo is softer than actual cotton. Um, so I feel like, unfortunately, I don't have any recommendations. Mia asked, can anyone
I
recommend some
don't.
reusable cotton ones? I have sensory processing disorder and I cannot stand even the slightest bit of scratchy.
Oh,
But people in the chat may have recommendations. I'm also going to throw in the link to the Discord, which is basically a forum, a chat room that we have for the Legutta, and there's a
mhm.
whole skincare section in there. And I bet
Yes.
you could ask in there if you wanted to join us. And everyone is so helpful, and there's probably people that are not even watching that are in the Discord that would have thoughts
And for
because
those of you that are new, Legata LGG, that's what we call ourselves, Legata Gang, because we always end up somehow in the gutter in our
yes.
conversations. So
Also, this is an interesting question
see,
from
see,
Nusha.
just like I just said. Did you see Yanni Rowe in there? I
I
just
did, but this
said
is why I thought I would mention Nusha's question. Does anyone else carry tension in the cheeks? And by cheeks, I mean the ones on your face.
yes. Um, so I do. It comes from, if you clench your jaw, the chances of you carrying tension in your cheeks is high. Um, especially women in general, because we are constantly in positions where we have to be like trying to look as unattractive as possible so nobody yells at us across the street when we didn't even ask for that. I think a lot of us hold a lot of tension like right in our faces and in our
Like doing
cheeks.
this.
And so yeah, we're like, And then mine's just
Doing
like
the like
general, like I'm a jaw clencher, and if you clench here, then when you tried to stop doing this, the tension just moved up and I'll notice it most when I'm going to bed. And it's when I kind of lay down, I'm like, why am I holding my face so tight? And then I have to kind of relax my face out. But yes, the I have not figured out a fix for it yet, other than to just be conscious of it and then like kind of drop my face and be like, ah.
I wonder with your nightly or like your skincare, your morning and nightly routine, if you could like focus on like doing some cheek massages, because even
Mm-hmm.
like this area, like the back end of like the cheek,
Yes,
and like you could
right
use the
here.
time that you're like putting your serums on, your moisturizers, to just like use that time to kind of massage. And if nothing else, at least it's loosening. I feel like it's probably like, even if it can't help the tension, it's just helping you remember like, hey, this is a thing. I deserve to not feel this tension. I can take up the space that I deserve. Men can go fuck themselves and leave me alone. Like, just using it as a meditation time. I also wanted to call out, Bethany had a good tip.
Yeah.
If you can go to a fabric store or the section of a fabric section of a craft store, you can go in there, feel all the different fabrics, pick one out that feels the softest to you, take it home. I would say wash it and then cut it up, and then you have your own washable like face cloths or rounds. Um,
Um, I will say that I'm not, yes, Bethany, yes,
yeah,
you are correct. What I am going to say though is currently that may be difficult because everybody and their fucking mom is making masks
yes,
now.
yes, that's true.
So like the fabric section of everywhere is just depleted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you're not alone. You said I noticed the cheek
No,
tension when I cleanse or when I moisturize. I massage it out. It's like a massage when you have a tight muscles, but I didn't know if it was just me. You are not alone.
we summoned Rami.
Yes.
Yes.
I get weird tingles in my cheeks. I'm praying it's the collagen working overtime, but alas, it's just delusion. Oh,
Well,
Robbie.
the other thing is like as generally as people, especially as Americans in this country, we are very much trained to smile. It's a fucking weird thing. Like the
Yeah.
those memes and jokes about like the white people like weird smile where they're like that smile. That smile is honestly like as much as we joke about it, but it's born out of of the reality of forcing people to smile at one another, even if you don't want to. So like the second you make eye contact with somebody, we have this feeling that you have to smile at them. So that's why
Yeah.
like most people do it. Most people, it's not just a white people thing. Like a lot of people actually do it. They're like, and we just kind
Also,
of move our feet.
I love that, of course, Audra shares the best TikToks on her Instagram stories, the best one. But you think yesterday you shared one about how resting bitch face is not real. It's a
Correct.
construct because everyone wants women to always comfort and always be a source of comfort. And resting bitch face is not real because that's just your face when you're not
Exactly.
smiling and constantly trying to make other people feel better.
Correct.
And yes, you can totally use t-shirts. If somebody's asking about using like t-shirts to make like face cloths or things, yes, use your like an old soft t-shirt that you're like, oh, this is stained or ripped or something, cut it up and use it for your face stuff. Exactly. The best.
Well, because so
Uh
we do that, and it is. I am loving having the masks, you guys. I know that that is
uh-huh.
contrary. Love it. I love having a mask on. I don't have to smile at anybody. Like, and
So
listen,
good.
no handshaking. Like, I'm never gonna have to shake another motherfucker's hand in my entire life, and I'm gonna live by that. There are babies being born right now that may not get to do this, but I'm going to be able to go the rest of my life and not shake someone's hand. And yes, it really bothers me that they do that because constantly with women. It's smile, smile more. Honey, you'd be cuter if you smiled. Why aren't you smiling? It falls along the same lines of people when you go to work and you walk into work and somebody says, good morning. And you're like, what's good about it? And they're like, well, you woke up on this side of the earth. And you're like, fuck you. Like that.
And my reaction is, I have to spend another day with you. I'd rather be on the other side of the earth.
Thank you.
Like,
I'm like, listen, I would, because I look at these people like, sir, I don't know if you know this, but I have bills. I have bills, I have bills, I have bills, and I don't get paid enough at this job for you to bother me
this
and
is
say that to
the
me.
this is the time to practice not smiling. If
Mm-hmm.
you feel a compulsion to smile because the world always tells women to smile, this is the perfect time to just practice it. Just relax your face, or like I will react at like more if you like with a mask than not, because I'm like, whatever, if you can see my eyes, I don't fucking care. Like, at least you can't see me going like, I'm just like
Yeah. Also, the mask is really helpful to other people's fucking BO.
yeah. Yeah.
Because some of these people stink. I said that with
Okay though.
so
I
much
feel like people are
venom.
distracted by like everyone being in masks to really notice people's eyes. Oh, I love this line, vision of you. Smiling is above my pay grade. I need to remember that one.
Thank you.
That
She
actually
says
might
with a beautiful smiley photo.
well.
No, I'm just like,
Well, yes, I also
yes,
the
I'm an uncomfortable laugher as well. I'll be right back. I'm going to
yeah.
use the restroom.
Okay, sounds good. I was about to say, I'm like, yes, I am an uncomfortable laugher. So that's awkward when something terrible happens and I laugh and I'm just like, well, I look like a ridiculous person. Um, and then Tracy breaking it down into big fancy words. Yes, I agree. It has actually been pretty, I don't want to say lovely. It has been nice as an introvert. Oh, your resting bitch face thorn is a delight. It is iconic. Also, I have nothing like against the actual term resting bitch face because I think it's very helpful at times. But just the concept of like, no, it's actually because men always need women to be comforting to them. Seriously, nobody should ever say good morning to ever again. Ever again. Just, I don't want to hear it. Oh, so the good morning thing. I would always like I worked in a bakery and so I was always one of the last, maybe not the last person, but like usually one of the last people that would come in the mornings. We were at a bread bakery, so it wasn't like we were open at 5 a.m. But I would get a lot of like good mornings and I'm just like, leave me the fuck alone. And have people be like, well, I've been up for 2 hours. I'm like, yeah, but you've been paid for that time. I'm on salary. I was here very late. I'm here early. I don't want to be here. Leave me alone. Oh, the worst line ever. It takes our muscles to frown and smile. That's why I have resting bitch face. It's not a frown. It's a leave me alone. I love that. Yeah, I mean it happens sometimes. Sometimes it's just a reflex. I don't mean ill, just happens. Also, yeah, it's the same old question over and over again. It's like, especially when I was working, it's like, I did the same thing I do every weekend. I did nothing because I'm a tired introvert. So I stayed in my apartment. Leave me alone again. Wait, there are so many good comments. I'm like scrolling backwards. That too. I'm not angry. It's just my face. Yeah, exactly. The plain face is considered the frown, the resting bitch face. It's like I'm just existing. That's all. I'm just existing.
I am back. I'm starting up my cam. Could everybody in the chat just say hi to my mom? She's watching, y'all. My mom is watching. Hi, mom. She was like
Oh,
saying, she was like messaging me and saying that she smiles under her mask too. So like my mom is watching.
oh,
So it's really cool. Hi, mama. Mwah, I love you.
oh, that's so adorable. I love it. We were talking about like the annoying work things that we hope we never have to do again, like answer the question, "What did you do this weekend?"
I
What
hate
is
that
your
because I'm like, I always look at them and say the same annoying thing where I'm like, well, I didn't win the lottery, so I'm fucking here.
That's amazing. I love that.
Like if I won the lottery.
I
Oh,
love all
mom,
the
everybody's
highs
saying
in the
hi to you in the
chat. It's
chat.
so good.
Thank you guys.
Also fair, Kobe. I blame trauma for awkward laughing. I think that's a
That's
that's a
true.
thing for yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, for a lot of us.
Yeah. Like it's a weird deal. Yeah,
Okay, that's weird. Like what?
yeah, it's just it's very strange, especially in these times that people are like bothered to ask me, like they'll text me like they're working, they're like, "What'd you do this weekend?" And I'm like, "The same thing. I've done the same shit every day, every day. I get up, I take
Seriously.
Bo for a walk at dark 30 in the morning now because it's dark 30 now. Oh, don't worry about it. My mom has seen worse." But like I
Oh,
take him out for his dark 30 like
yes.
morning jaunt because until it cools off, he can't go for like a long afternoon walk because it's too hot and he's very light skinned. My son is light skinned and he cannot tolerate too much sun. So it's like I'm just like, well, I sat around and I watched a bunch of previews that got me nowhere.
Nikki is
Um,
amazing. Nikki is a ring announcer in
what?
pro wrestling. So whenever they'd ask how my weekends were, I'd make up some scary wrestling story. They stopped asking.
Okay, so let me just tell you a secret fantasy of mine. If I ever got married, I always wanted a Bruce Buffer from the UFC to like announce, and now it's time. I always wanted that in my life. I thought that that would be perfect. That would be the perfect way for me to get married. If I were to get married, it would be Bruce Buffer, like saying it's time. Like also for my funeral, like both things.
Also fair. Both things. It's a double date. It's like a double booking. You got to do both. I like this. I didn't do anything over the weekend. And unless you have video, you can't prove anything.
Thank you. Listen, first of all, I'm just like,
Ooh.
you don't need to know. I know, but it's more that like for his feet and all that good stuff. Like I know he could wear shoes, but
Oh.
trying to get shoes on him,
Good luck.
I'm not about that. I'm not
Yeah.
about that. Cindy, thank you. My radiant
Um,
face.
oh.
Thank you. But like,
That's
yeah, I mean,
amazing.
like my when it comes to the like, I guess my final like skincare irritation and pet peeve is the way that so many are so quick to, and we've talked about this and touched on it, but so many people are quick to shame for what you don't do. And I want to push this just a little bit further
Sorry.
because same, Rami, same. Um, because there's so much like we're just out here, like most people are just out here buying stuff. And the thing about skincare is you have to like really read, like you have to think about what you want to happen with your skin. And then you have to go past the claims and read like what it actually does and go
Yeah.
look up ingredients. Inky Decoder is a really great site to go to. You can actually type in the product name if you wanted to, or you can copy and paste the ingredients, drop it in, and it's going to tell you everything in there. It's going to tell you whether or not it's good, whether or not it's bad, and it's going to do that, right? So this is where I say, and Emily said it multiple times,
Yeah.
everyone's skin is different and everybody has different
Yeah.
needs and different things that you're trying to take care of. So if you're sitting here like, I want to remove, like, I want to take care of wrinkles, retinol is going to be one of your best bets. Retinol is going to be your best bet.
You have to
Um,
read.
yeah,
Exactly.
it is. You really do have to read. Like you have to take some ownership of it. We cannot all just sit because like we are not in the information age where we can easily access information at our fucking fingertips now. We can access this information at our fingertips and be able to just look something up this fast. We're not for no reason. We're not here for you to just like jack up your face, being like, I bought this stuff, it destroyed my skin. And it's like, but did you look like did you look at what it had in it first? Did you look at ooh? And my final one, sorry, I had one more, which was physical exfoliants. So there's a lot of noise around physical exfoliants and whether or not they're good or bad. The key to a physical exfoliant is having the right one and using it properly. I think one of the biggest mistakes most people make with a physical exfoliant is number one, they're not putting it on their moist face. They're putting it on their dry ass face. Horrible mistake. Horrible. You need to wet your face if you're going to use a physical exfoliant. And another thing about a physical exfoliant, please, for the love of all that is holy, spread it out on your palm. Spread it out on your palm and then take it to your face.
Yeah.
Because now that it's spread out, you're not having to spend this time with the product on your face, moving this lump across your face, basically jamming one part of your skin, by the way. Whatever
Yeah.
spot that you drop that on, you're going to that part. And then the rest of your skin is going to look great, but you're going to have a one weird spot. But if you put it on your hand first, you just like get it all spread out and then you take the little bits and gently, don't be like, but gently massage it
Yeah.
on your moist, damp face and make sure you're getting one that has nourishing ingredients for your skin. Don't
Yeah.
just grab any old exfoliant and be like, I just got to scrub off my. No, no, it doesn't work like that. And a lot of people I've heard will have been doing crazy, crazy things like taking a body exfoliant and using it on their face. I'm like, please don't. Your body skin's different.
Yeah.
Your body skin is different.
I have a pet peeve that's related to that. I actually don't think physical exfoliants are a good starting point. And I think they're shown as like a beginner level skincare. And I don't think that's true because I think you need to know what the fuck you're doing. And I just don't think that most people do. They don't hear what you're saying about use it with water, look at the ingredients. So like I would much rather recommend something like the Pixie Glow Tonic or the ordinary AHH like toner that's in a big bottle, or like a low percentage chemical exfoliant that's just like a toner that you can put on that will slowly start the work. It's not the good genes, it's not a blood peel, it's not an extreme thing, it's not like a retinol, it's like a slow beginning. Because I think like I do have some products that are physical exfoliants and I like them, but I also understand when to use them, how to use them. You have no
Yes.
idea how you're going to react with, in my opinion, I think with some physical exfoliants, just reading the ingredient list might not be enough for you to really understand how you might react to it, because the granule size, the texture, the consistency of what it's in, all of that can affect it. Whereas like a low power, like a chemical exfoliant that now I look at and think that does absolutely nothing for my skin, it was a good place to start. It
Yes.
was a good baby step. And then you'll start kind of researching and looking at ingredients and figuring it out from there. But I think that also ties into the idea, one of my biggest pet peeves is just that unfortunately no one has the exact
Thank
answer
you.
for skincare. No one has
Yeah.
it. And so the fact that people, brands, forums are touted as the place, the answer, this is what you need, is really like frustrating to me because it's just that's not how it works. Brands are going to sell you shit, whether it's the Ordinary or Drunk Elephant or La Mer or Vanilla and Co. Like they're a brand, they're going to sell you shit. People are only going to have their skin, or if they're an esthetician, they have a little bit more knowledge, but not everyone has the money to go to an esthetician or dermatologist. So I just think that like realizing that maybe starting slow in skincare, that's like that's like the thing that I would rather see people do. Pick out
Yes.
a serum and a moisturizer and one maybe like low power treatment, like, or just serum and moisturizer. Just get your skin hydrated, get your skin like hydrated and plump, and then you can start worrying about cell turnover, wrinkles, brightness, like, but get yourself like hydrated and moisturized, and then keep going, building it up from there.
Yeah, and so like that's one of the positive sides of skincare, right? Like that you were talking about.
Yeah.
My recommendation for skincare, especially if you're just getting into like going beyond just like cleansing your face and putting on moisturizer, start slow. Like Emily said, don't go balls to the wall doing all kinds of stuff because you're watching YouTube. You know, like we all like we it has happened to all of us. We've all gotten sucked in by YouTube and like the things that people say and the products that they tell us to buy, and we're all like, oh my god, I'm buying it. It's amazing. And then you buy it and you're like, it's either too much or not enough for you. So if you start slow, you very quickly start to figure out what works for your skin, because I talk like placebo, and I talked to Emily about this before. Placebo is
Yeah.
how placebo works, because people use the term a lot and people don't exactly know what placebo means. So the brain is very, very powerful. And this is why they instituted the use of a placebo, because they knew the brain is so powerful. And if you're ever wondering, I learned this in high school in my anatomy class. The brain is so powerful. There was a woman who had had cancer, and she went into remission, and she insisted that she had cancer. And they kept telling her, no, ma'am, you are fine. You don't have any cancer. She effectively killed herself with her own brain. She died.
Ooh.
There was no reason for her to have died other than she told herself she was going to die, and she had cancer and she was going to die. She told herself that so much that she did. This is why I tell people all the time, like, this is why people say this: what you put out into the world and what you say to yourself is important. So placebo uses the theory of the fact that your brain is so powerful that it can tell you that things are working. So if something says it's anti-wrinkle and all this stuff and you paid $75 for it, chances are initially you are going to placebo effect, where initially you're going to look at that product, you're going to like, yes, I see the wrinkles disappearing, because you need them to disappear because it's expensive. Like the stuff that you bought, you put your hard-earned money into this, you splurged on this product, you need it to work. But once you get past that initial period of time, which is one thing that I do this because I do YouTube. So I take breaks in between using things. Like I have a nighttime moisturizing cream that has sativa in it. I used it the first time. I was like, wow, I feel really relaxed. And then I was like, it's probably just my brain. So I waited a couple weeks, used it again. Waited a couple weeks, then used it again. Every time I used it, I was like, no, I actually really do feel like my face, like I get like a bit of a tingle, and I start to kind of chill the fuck out. And then I'm like, I'm going to bed. So when they say placebo, they're not saying like, oh, it's just what they're trying to tell you is basically they had a control group, and in this group, nobody knew who was getting what. And
Yeah.
that's why they say in placebo group, this many people said that they felt that or that they enjoyed it. But most people who have that placebo effect, it's going to wear off for one reason or another for most. Then there's that percentage that it's never going to, because their brain already told them it's working, regardless of the fact that it's not working, which
Yeah.
is why our country is such a mess. Moving on. But,
Speaking of the
but
awkward smile.
right? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, you do have to just like realize that when you start using any skincare product, you're going to most likely have a placebo effect at first. You need to give yourself some time before you're like, this is the best thing ever. Before you just give yourself like 3 or 4 weeks of using the product consistently, and then look and go, but is this working? Is
And what were you expecting of that? Because
Yeah,
I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I do want to get more into retinol, but I otherwise feel like there's very few things that are going to magically change my skin. And like, yes, you can theoretically improve upon wrinkles, you can improve upon like the overall texture of your skin, but you can't really change your pore size. You can't,
correct.
you know,
Right.
you're not going to like reshape your face with your skincare.
What do you mean?
And I definitely think that's an annoying thing of like people expecting a very, very high level because of marketing claims, not really understanding that that's not going to be what happens. So, and also this, don't just buy like
Yes.
if you're at a counter and they're like, "Oh, you want this toner, but don't you also want this?" And then and you should get this. And like I have all my skincare over here. Like get all these things and you get talked into like a whole new routine. You put it all on your face, something reacts. You have no idea what reacted because guess what? You
Yes.
have three, four, five, six new products. And so now you have to go back and start everything over again. When your skin calms down, you can introduce one new product. And then a week later, maybe introduce a second new product. And like the process of doing that is also incredibly time consuming. So it's just
Yeah.
like, just,
Because
you
even if you
know,
got all of those things, still like introduce them slowly into your
yes.
routine. And then, like Keisha was saying here, this is another thing. This is one of my pet peeves that when we
Yeah.
talked about earlier, why it bothers me when people don't understand the difference between allergy and reaction, because they're two different things. You can have a reaction to something, but it's not an allergic reaction. And there's a lot of products where the initial time you tried it, you're like, "Bleh!" And then
Yeah.
if you tried it again, you're like, oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Danica.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you. Is that like a
You've
dancing
got your
hippo? That's
skincare
the business.
fridge. Go
That is
for
the
it. Look
business.
at you, Keisha. Look at you with your skincare fridge.
Oh, I'm so
Um,
proud of you. I'm not. I'm still mad at you for beginning. But yeah, I mean that's why there is a. It's so important for people to understand the difference between reaction, because sometimes you can have a reaction just because your skin's not used to something, and it doesn't
yeah,
always mean you're sensitive. So you just need to like take a deep breath, because
yeah,
especially because when we're young, this is take heart to this. When we are young, almost all of us have sensitive skin. So you're
yeah,
told at 16 and like 13 that you have sensitive skin. And then into adulthood, you just think that you have sensitive skin. A large
yeah,
amount of your reactions were because you just never tried anything more hard, like harder,
yeah,
or like, I'm not going to say harsh, but more
yeah,
intense than you had been using. And then, you got on YouTube, you started watching some shit, and you're like, oh, let me just try this. And then you go and you try this product, and you're like, oh my God, it just destroyed my skin. It's over. It's over. And you didn't even allow yourself to like take
yeah,
a break. It's one thing to have a reaction, it's a whole other for your like face to go like absolutely nuts and your skin to be on fire. Like that's different. But I've had things where like, my chin broke out a little bit. And then there's products where it's like it worked everywhere on my face except for I couldn't put it right here. Because I
yeah,
think
exactly.
somebody, I can't remember who was saying, I think it was Anita. Um, but just don't put the product there.
Yeah,
Don't put it there. That's the spot that your skin is like, I don't like the retinol to be right here. Everywhere else it's fine. Don't put
yeah,
it there. You're perfectly fine to do that. You do not have to like shove it all over your entire face. If you have a
exactly.
spot right here where like you put the snail mucin on your skin and like right here it makes your skin angry, then don't put it there. Put it everywhere else that your
Yeah.
skin's happy for it. Don't put it there. You don't have to
Speaking
go nuts.
of, yeah, like these parts of my nose sometimes get weirdly sensitive, not reactive to anything. They just get like sensitive, and it's where I have like natural redness, which I think is for normal for most people. But like even right now, like this part is like sensitive, and I'm just like I'm ready to wash my face and get makeup off of it because it's just having one of those moments where it's like we don't really like anything. Like just leave us alone.
Yeah.
Um, Also, there was a question earlier about getting long wear lip product off. Cleansing balms get long wear lip products off for me. Cleansing balms
Yes.
get. But the other thing, I'm gonna grab it. I got if it's still on sale. I picked this up at from Sonia Kashuk, but I feel like that line either my Target is getting rid of it because I have a tiny Target by me, or they're going away. Let me pick it up. Let me go grab it because it's super helpful also for lip stuff.
No, the face totally has a sphincter. Your mouth is a sphincter. Yes, Beth, and that really like that was a thing I started to take to heart because I've had some poor reactions to things, and thankfully I had Sunday Riley like that oil, but that shit saved my life because I had a bad vitamin C reaction because like that shit's reactive. But it didn't make me think, oh, vitamin C is horrible. What I did is I said, okay, this was obviously too much vitamin C for my skin. So I need to figure out what to do. And like I got it all cleared up. I used, at the time I had a Sunday Riley CEO glow and I put that on and that also, which is weird, also has vitamin C in it, but it also had turmeric, but like those even then
Different
it
percentages
calmed.
though too.
Yeah, it had a much well it was oil it was in an
Oil
oil
based.
form, and so since it was oil based and different smaller percentage, all of this stuff, it like took care of everything. It took care of the skin, and I ended up being clear. I still use vitamin C to this day. I didn't
Yeah.
just go like, oh no, I can't use vitamin C. It's because that's been another ingredient that people have yelled about, being like, it's too volatile. You shouldn't use that on your skin. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just have to
Well,
watch like your collection of how you're using it. Oh,
yeah.
Cindy, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Cindy.
Thank
And
you
I
so
stopped
much.
using vitamin C because it just didn't do anything for my skin. For me,
Yeah.
but I also understand that doesn't mean it's not useful. And this is the skincare thing that I got. So it looks like the back of a toothbrush basically, but there's like a side where it's smaller, little teeny tiny nubs, and then a side that it's like they're larger and it feels like silicone. It feels like some of the silicone scrubbies, but like I will use this if I'm using my cleansing balm, I can go in and like use it to get a long wear lip product off.
Night, Keisha.
Or I'll use it, good night, Keisha, or I'll use it with my like lip scrubs. So instead of having to dig my finger in and like scrub out around that way, I'll put it on here. I have a squeezy lip scrub right now and then go in and use it. And it's been great. And it was like $2 on sale. And I think it's normally like 5 or something. So I really like it. But
I see
yeah.
that.
Yeah. And you know what? That I was looking at the price point of that brand, and that was actually an intriguing brand for me to try. And then
All
no,
that
I'm
shit hit
glad
the
I did
fan,
not.
real talk.
Yeah, I'm real glad that I did not because I was close because I was like the secret price points.
And
Oh, I
Anita
don't
brought up
trust
a
Glam
very good
Glow.
point because bringing up every and it burns and makes me red probably because of something else going on. This is so important. You have like, especially if you have a like long skincare routine where you are
Yeah,
relaxing, massaging your face, using your balm, and then you go in with your hot lava Tokyo and you just and then you can use like one of your serums. And then you know what? You've interacted a serum that you've never interacted together before. And then
yeah,
those two hang out and then they're like, and that's a horrible ordeal. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but you just have to realize like what can and can't go together. And me and Emily were talking about this. It's one of the reasons why I used to be like really like kind of into the ordinary, but the more I started looking at it, the less I
yeah.
like the
I'm really
ordinary.
not.
It's not good beginner skincare. You have to do a lot of research on their site to figure out which products go with which because you can end up burning your face off. Like
Yeah.
I wish I was saying that as a joke, but it's not.
It's just
Night, Danica.
you can also, good night, Danica. You could also like mix ingredients that shouldn't be mixed in terms of the order of your routine. I also just felt like I spent way more money than what I would have spent if I just bought like if I was just strictly like, okay, I want something that's going to be like a lightweight, like I really like a watery. They're called toners or essences.
I love the
Well, I
essences.
want something like this. I want a serum. Again, these are vanilla and co, but they don't. The thing is that I want to say this as a pet peeve is that oh, you have to stick with one brand. Mix your skincare up. Like I have so many different brands of skincare. I have so many different things. And yes,
Yolanda. So
oh
sorry.
hey, Wanda.
Hi.
Oh, um, but yeah, like I think it's so much more affordable to get like one moisturizer, maybe a serum, a toner, and one like acid. That's 4 products. With the ordinary, you would need more than that, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, because the thing about The Ordinary is, so here's the thing. If you've never bought from The Ordinary, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go to their website. If
Yeah.
before you even like, don't just go buy shit. If you're buying more than one product from them, you need to go to their website and you need to see what goes together, because they legitimately have like what you can use with what and what you should not use with it. Because like you
Yeah.
can get the buffet, which is one of the products. You can get the buffet, but the buffet don't go with everything, because the buffet
Mm,
got a lot of the shit in it that you
yeah.
don't want to use with other. And that like, so that's my problem with it. Night, Gemma.
Oh, good night,
Be
Gemma.
safe.
Also, I did not know this was even a thing.
No, it does not. Yeah,
What?
I don't know why people say the things of, oh, just put water on your face. And you're like, what? Um, it's just like,
Yeah, I just never understood why it was being advertised as a beginner-friendly skincare line
it's not.
because and I don't even think it's I like Bethany thinks it's great. I think that's awesome. I just think that it's more overwhelming than necessary for skincare. And so, in my opinion, I feel like that can turn people away because let's say you bought a bunch of things and now you're like, oh, now I have like 6 different bottles of things to put on my face. Like I thought, like I didn't know skincare was like 6 or 7 different products. I just wanted to like get my shit together. And it's like, yeah, you don't have to have 6 or 7 different things. You can just
Yeah.
like get a couple of things and start in baby steps. But I feel like that's not what the ordinary is.
And then, yeah, because like a lot of the water myth, especially even for your skincare, there's this myth that like, oh,
Okay,
if you
that
just
part,
drink
yeah.
enough water, your
Everything
skin
will
will
be
be
fixed.
magical. Listen, I exist mostly on beer and wine. My skin is glowing. All right.
Yeah,
Like water isn't the thing that fixes your
yeah.
skin. And that is a very annoying pet peeve for many people to have, including myself, because imagine being younger, like imagine being 22 years old and you go and you watch, skincare YouTube or somebody on YouTube, anybody, in beauty saying like, oh, well, I drink, 75 gallons of water a day and that's why my skin is clear. Like, please stop that, because that water doesn't fix everything. One, two, the water needed is actually not calculable like the way that they've done it, where they're like, everybody needs 8 glasses of water. And that's actually not true. It's however much water your body needs.
Yeah.
When your body dictates that you need water, it's going to tell you, like BT dubs. You will suddenly develop a hardcore thirst for water and only water is going to fix that.
I'm a little
But for
more
me,
on
it
the side
does.
of like, don't let your body get to that point. Because
Well,
for
yes,
me,
but
when it
don't.
gets
But
to
I'm
that
just
point,
saying.
that's when I have migraines.
Hey,
Like
Josh.
if I want a direct line to like migraines, that is me waiting for my body to
Yes.
tell me it's time to drink water. So
Well, yes,
I'm a
yes.
little bit more. Also, hey Josh,
Oh fuck.
hello. My video is going live tomorrow. Yay. Um,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check and see what that siren means.
ooh, yes,
Y'all hear it?
please. I
I'm
didn't
gonna go
hear
check.
it, but
I'll be right back.
but
Oh
yeah, like
shit.
I'm definitely the kind of person that I do drink a lot of water, and if I were to wait till my body told me you need to drink water, I would have more migraines than I currently already struggle with. But it's also not gonna like be a life changing thing for your skin, or I've heard that for your hair, for your nails, for your skin, for everything. Drink water, and I'm just like, there's so many other things going on in your body that you can like work on. That too. You can also drink too much water. Yes, it's good for you, but and that's why I drink a lot of it. But it's not gonna fix everything. Uh, oh, that's fascinating. A various wait. Oh my gosh, things jump so fast. So fast. Drinking enough water is my number one pain reduction method, and my daily pain levels are above an 8. That is so interesting. Huh, I never heard that. It's just ridiculous being like, water is how you solve. Now I understand it. I thought it was like, only wash your face with water and you'll get rid of your acne. But yeah, the drink water thing. No. Yes. Oh, wait. Earlier, somebody asked about SPF. I know it's not cheap, but I really enjoy the Crave Beauty Beach Shield. It's an SPF that to me feels like moisturizer on my face, and I don't smell the SPF, and it also doesn't run into my eyes when I get sweaty. So take that for what it will be. Otherwise, I always recommend Alicia Kinky Sweat because I know she has multiple videos on SPF, and I know she's recommended a couple of different like Korean and Japanese brands that are also great, but I don't know about the scent. I think Nusha asked about SPF without a scent that feels like moisturizer. Maybe it wasn't Nusha, but somebody asked about without a scent that feels like a moisturizer. So Thorn, if you have any guidance, there you go.
All right, sorry about that. I just had to go out and check. In the daytime, I don't necessarily, because I can see it in the daytime. I can't see it at night.
Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, I think a storm's just blowing in. There's been hurricanes on the coast, so that flows up here. So sorry.
No, it's all good.
Rami brought up another
Uh,
good point a long time ago where he was talking about um, expensive does not mean good.
yes.
That is actually a huge pet peeve because sweet baby, good gracious, like please, can we stop making people feel like because this is one of the reasons that like BoxyCharm really fell out of favor for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, was that they've had several different skincare items that were priced at $100 and nobody knew why. You know, like you would go and you
Yeah.
look up the item and you're just trying to figure out like why is this $100? What does it do? Like what is it doing that makes it $100? Nothing. It's like water and oil mixed together and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And also because it came from a brand that had like no history, like
Yes,
multiple different times that happened.
like
I
brands
think,
you'd never heard of and they're just like, oh, this is like a son of the sea skincare. It's got all the stuff inside of it. It's $100 and you're like, why though? And
and I
then
have
you
to
go look it up
say,
and there's only one other spot to find it and it was
yeah,
$100 and you're like, this is weird,
yeah.
suspicious.
I was watching Kelsey Brown Jay earlier. She was live, and she made a really good point. So she's in her 20s. I think she said late 20s. That she had looked at one. She's not as passionate about skincare, so there's that. But she had looked at these higher end skincare brands, these really like very luxury brands, and she's like, I thought about it, but then I also thought like where do I have to go? If I start using, for example, La Mer in my late 20s, when I'm 40, 50, where do I have to go? What's next? What's
Yeah,
like, if I'm using the highest of the high end, like, what's the next step? And yes, theoretically, maybe you won't need anything stronger than that, but aging's still happening. Like, you're never going to
yeah,
truly fight aging. So that was a
because
good,
that's where
like,
I
it
disagree
was a
with
cool
some younger
perspective to hear.
skincare people. Like, I disagree with them when they're telling people, like, in their mid to late 20s to use retinol. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
shouldn't, but I don't necessarily agree with it because here's the fun fact. Most of your aging for most people is going to start 25 to 30. Um,
Yeah.
of course, there's premature aging and there's being in the sun, all of these things that you could have done to ruin your skin. But we're saying this, and the issue that we're having and that I'm seeing right now is that you see 16-year-olds on TikTok using a chemical peel. there's no reason for a single,
Yeah.
like they're constantly creating new skin cells. Like they're not in a place where they need to like force the skin to regenerate and do, like, I am 40. I'm at a place where I need to force my skin to like be regenerative. I'm
Yeah.
I like my skin, I exfoliate my body every fucking shower I take. That's not every day, but I do exfoliate my skin every shower I take because I'm in a stage now where I have to like, bump up my skin's
Yeah.
reactions to doing these things. So it's very scary that there are young people right now using chemical peels, using retinol. And I'm like, you are 16.
Yeah.
There's like literally no reason for you to be doing this right now. You're like pushing, like, I think that that may be a cause for some young people to have extra oily skin because they're
Yeah.
like
That's true.
forcing a lot of extra production that their skin had no intention or need to do at this point in time. So it's just like, don't. Cindy, it's a pat. Um, so first, I don't wear a shit ton of makeup if I'm out, but
Yeah.
when I have sunscreen, so I this is one of the reasons why I'm a super tactile and do the tactile stuff, because you can press the sunscreen into your face without destroying your makeup. So you just take a little bit and press and press and press. And then, if anything, if you still feel a little bit oily or whatever, you can kind of, use if a blotting paper if you must. But
Yeah.
most of the time, if you just do like light presses, you can reapply sunscreen on top of your makeup, and it's just going to sink into everything else. That's for me anyway. I don't know if that works for everybody, but that's how it works for me. As I do a pressing motion, and it just like,
I mean,
no.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna
I was put
say,
at the.
no, it's not. It's indifferent. That's what I was gonna say is like, I personally think mid 20s, depending on how your skin is progressing, I think you
Mhm.
could easily start using a lightweight retinol, like the serum that I got, the Good for You or whatever, that really lightweight retinol. Like, I think that could work when you're younger, but not a teenager. Also,
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, just a plug. So Caitlin said CeraVe is a really gentle retinols to start. However, they're not cruelty free. Next week on my channel, we're going to be talking cruelty free.
Yes, we
So I
are.
just wanted to bring that up and how it's not so clear cut or so perhaps the golden child thing to do when
Correct.
you're a makeup beauty skincare lover. So, but yeah, I think Oh, and then so Thorin said this: young people over exfoliating is like the my biggest source of grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It,
Ron, I love this. That's
hey!
amazing. That sounds like a delight as a bath
I
lover.
know. If
And
only I could take a bubble
good
bath.
night, Sherry.
Night, Jerry. Thank you for the pet pic, by the way.
Oh, and I agree that these skincare brands have to manufacture a problem to sell you a solution, and that's very
Yeah.
true. I feel like for like young people, and also for as we get older, it's so easy to fall in the trap of like, oh, do I have texture issues, or oh, do I have this issue? Do I have that issue? And the reality is that some people do and other people don't.
Mhm.
You just buy and use what works for you.
Yeah, because like especially teenagers with acne, I know nobody wants to hear it, being a teen, that the best thing for you to do for your acne is, take care of your skin and not wear makeup. They want to wear makeup, but it literally is the best thing for you to do is like don't wear the makeup. And I think
Yeah,
some of the skincare stuff comes around because people just like with a diet, right? People want the easiest way, and
yeah,
and rather than deal with, okay, you know what, I'm going to have 3 years of having really intense acne, and if I follow this regimen that they've set forth for me, I'm going to be okay by the time I'm like 19.
yeah.
The problem is so many people are just like, well, everybody's wearing makeup, I want to wear
I
makeup.
feel that.
And I remember being so upset when I saw this, like 2016, this slather, and now people are paying for it. The slather that was going on, where people were just like creating a whole new blemish free face with like 80,000 pounds
Yeah,
of makeup. And
Oh, it's still happening. High
it's still
intensity
happening, but
happening.
it was worse that because I remember clearly the amount, like I could not scroll my Instagram
Have you
feed
seen
without
Robert's
seeing a video every
reaction
single time.
videos of people that are applying foundation with a brush? They're not
Oh
blending,
yeah.
they're just painting it. That's still
Oh
happening.
yeah.
I still
Oh yeah.
see teens today where I'm like, oh, you poor thing. And this goes back to the makeup wipes thing.
Yeah.
Wash your face. If you're a teenager and you're like, no, 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 I have to wear makeup, I have to put on a new face, then double cleanse. Get in there with
Hmm.
actual cleanser and wash it. But I think the combo of like you have acne, you wear makeup to cover it, and then you use a makeup wipe,
Yeah.
my heart.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
baby, your skin is crying.
exactly. That's the thing is
And
like I think that's the sad part because I'm just like it's a cycle. You're being sold every step of that cycle.
well, and I think culturally, skincare and especially sunscreen, difficult road because brown peoples as a whole, not like just I'm not speaking for but brown peoples as a whole consistently would preach that like you didn't need sunscreen because you're brown. And like, oh, you have melanin in your skin, you're fine. Oh, we do this. Oh, we tan, that's what we do. You need sunscreen. Like, just put on the damn sunscreen. It's not, it's really not that bad. Like, just the most annoying thing is going to be the best thing. It's just like when you get a zit, right? Because this is people will don't pop the fucking zit. I know you want to. I know everything in your soul wants you to pop this zit, but you're gonna like we're always so sad once we do because we end up making this like huge mess. And the skin around that is irritated because you like pushed it with two fingernails, just like so all of the skin is all messed up and upset around there. On top
And
of that, the
scar
zit,
tissue
yes.
like
And
takes
if
a
it's a blackhead, baby,
yeah.
you only got like the surface part of it. So now it's gonna like reform into a
Yeah.
ginormous angry bump. And then it's just gonna randomly you, and it's just not okay. Just let it come to its fruition, nurse it to its health, call it Fred if that makes you feel better. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
Fred, talk to it every day. And then one day Fred's just going to burst on its own. And then all you have to do is just like care for Fred
Yeah.
after he's exploded.
What do you feel about the patches, like the zip patches? Because I think that they're better than not, especially if you have issues with picking.
Yeah, those are
Because
really good. I've used them
yeah,
before. They're really good. They keep you from picking it almost puts it in an out of sight, out of mind because a lot of them are
yeah,
so clear that they you can't really see them on your skin, especially like you can put makeup on top of it. All like most
yeah,
of them are chowders, you can put makeup on top of it. So it's almost an out of sight, out of mind thing. And since you're not constantly reminded that you have a zit here or wherever, you're
yeah,
not like picking at it. Like 'cause even if you're not a picker, you're gonna pick at it. It's just
yeah,
because human nature forces you to pick at any foreign object on
yeah,
your body. This is like it's the same reason why we pick boogers. Like it becomes a foreign object, and you're like, "What is this?" So you pick and pick until you
yeah,
get said booger, and you do this on your whole body. Everybody
yeah.
does. There's not a part of your body where you don't notice that you have like a bump. If you know on the top of your toe, you're gonna pick
You're
at this
gonna
bump until you figure out what it is. So the same thing with zits,
exactly.
and I like that they have those little. I love
Yeah,
those.
I find them to be because I was to say with scar tissue, like I know for me, I'm a picker. I'm really bad when I have like cuts or things healing because I've always been somebody that was like mosquitoes love me. So I've always had mosquito bites my like growing up and everything. And I struggle with that with like scratching and picking. And with those and with pimples, all of the ones that I've like forced, like I've done things with, I get worse like scar tissue from them, and it takes me so much longer for that to heal and for the
Mm-hmm.
skin to feel even slightly similar to how it used to be. And that's
Yeah.
more so with actual scars for like, but even with pimples, with bumps, with things that where like when I pick them, it's just like my skin is just like, yeah, we're gonna sit here and take like a year to truly heal and feel better.
Yeah.
So if I just can put a, a thing over it and like try to avoid thinking about it, it's so helpful.
Yeah. And I really, really like that. So, I mean, I just think that it works out really, really well in that regard. I think that the more products that they have to help us be mindful of our skin, the better. Because I know like there are people who don't necessarily like skincare tools. I think there's a
Yeah,
time and a place for them, and if you know what you're doing, then they work out well.
yeah,
The only issue I have with a lot of the tools is that nobody reads the instructions and they just start like slamming this thing on their face, and that's really where the issues come from, because a lot of these things that like are for your face are like really they're massagers. They're not intended to wash your face. Like I never
yeah,
used my like I call it my face vibrator, but I never used that to wash my face. Like not once. It was always to like just get cleanser or facial oil, like really like in get it in my skin
yeah,
on times when I'm having a rough time. But that is how I used it. It was never just like I'm going to use this to wash my face. I didn't understand the concept behind. I'm like, why am I using this? Like, how is it washing my face? This is weird. Why wouldn't I just
yeah,
wash my face?
yeah.
Um,
I felt like there was one other thing. Oh, now I forgot. Oh, about SPF. Okay, my perspective on this is that if I'm going to be out in the sun, I'm not going to wear face makeup so that I can reapply because I don't feel comfortable trying to tap SPF over like foundation or concealer or BB cream or anything like that. But if I am going, let's say I knew I was going to leave the house. So I did my skincare, I put my SPF on, I put on makeup. If I leave the house and it's still been a couple of hours, I at least feel like it's better than nothing. Even if I didn't reapply the way that it should be, I feel like the process of at least starting, of putting the SPF on, letting it last forever it's going to last, for me is better than nothing. So
yeah.
I'm going to put it on, even if I can't reapply it. It's a start. And then as I kind of get into that habit of just putting the SPF on, because it's still a habit I'm building,
Mhm.
then I can look into I know there's powder dispensers of SPF and there's all this, but I think if you're really wearing makeup, I don't really think there's a way to reapply the way it needs to be reapplied without taking your makeup off and applying it again.
And here's the other thing I'll say is like Cooler, for instance, has an SPF spray. Before everybody comes for me, if you already have your base of sunscreen on and you're
Yeah,
reapplying with it, I think you'll be okay because you're like you have your sunscreen on, then you put your makeup on. That shit was like
yeah,
that was working well for me, and I was riding motorcycles at the time, so my face never turned like a lot darker or anything like that. Like I was like, not like I mind getting darker, but like that's a clear indication for me. A lot of
yeah,
times that I've burned, especially right here, I burned really, really quickly right here. That's my
yeah,
burn zone. So, um, that was also the other like little trick that I use around it, aside from like padding. But most of the time, like if because this is I don't can we please can we please stop this like wearing makeup at the pool thing?
yeah.
Can we just stop like listen, I'm gonna wear my eyebrows obviously because otherwise you won't know how I'm feeling about things. But I'm gonna wear my eyebrows and I'm not
Yeah,
gonna wear like a full face of makeup to the freaking pool. And I feel like
yeah.
there's so much of this like getting yes, Cindy, I am using SPF when I'm home.
I'm
I
not
use
always
SPF.
as diligent, I have to say, but I'm also not popping out to walk my dog or anything like that. I'm literally like, yeah, but I do think that you probably should.
Caitlin, I don't feel like there's enough going on about powder SPF. And that could just be me, but I don't feel like there's enough information as to whether or not that's going to work. I feel like that's just a gimmick for some reason.
And that's the other, okay, that's actually a pet peeve is the SPF be one, SPF in your makeup is not enough SPF. Don't let
Correct.
anybody tell you that.
The
And
one thing I like
two,
that Gwen Goss did.
yeah, and two, all these different things that have SPF in them but aren't actually SPF
Correct.
makes me side eye everything and not trust it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because a lot of the stuff will say that it's
there we
SPF and
go.
it's like not SPF. See, and
Thorn
that's
is my go-to reference
yeah,
point for
I had a very good feeling because I'm like, ooh, that sounds gimmicky. Because here's the thing. There's a reason that SPF is delivered in the forms that it's delivered in, and that's because those have been the proven effective ways. SPF in your makeup, you would have to be basically, I mean, honestly, if SPF in your foundation is bullshit because you would have to basically put on the entire bottle to go out that day.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just got SPF that's for the face, at least 50, I always use 50 um, every time, then I'm fine. Like I'm not stressed about it. I don't get nervous. I'm not like, oh no. So I don't, I hate that everybody uses these gimmicky things to try to trick people into using, like, guess what? Guess what? Our makeup has skincare in it. Please stop doing that. That's why
Oh
I have
yes,
skincare.
that is such a pet peeve because it's
That's
just like
why I have skincare. I don't need your makeup to be skin because I have skincare, so I don't need your makeup to be skincare.
also like I put on okay, so you sell me like I know Glam Glow released their like they tried to release a highlighter palette and then say it had skincare in it. I'm like, most people have a foundation or tinted moisturizer or something down. They might have powder and then they have your powder highlighter in like the smallest sections. How the fuck is that going to do anything? How is it going to
Thank you.
try? It's not. You're just putting it in there to charge me more money. Just make makeup, sell me makeup, and then sell me skincare.
Yeah. Because, like, this idea, like, because, so one of the things, and I said this maybe last year, I feel like, because everybody was touting the Murad BHA, like, exfoliating cleanser. Fucking hate it. I
Okay.
am a deep despiser of exfoliating cleansers. And here's
Mhm.
why. You're either going to wash your face or you're going to exfoliate your
Yeah,
face.
agreed.
Doing both at the same time, my opinion, is harsh as fuck on your skin. Because
Yeah,
when you are washing your face, you are trying to remove dirt and oils. When you are exfoliating, you're trying to gently remove skin. Trying to combine those two things into one is counterintuitive.
yeah. No, it doesn't make any sense.
And
I
I
also
just
wanted
wouldn't go for it.
I want to say so Jovi's mom has been talking about so her daughter has like sensory issues and doesn't like water on her face unless she's in a pool. I talked about this earlier. There's these things called makeup erasers that are basically microfiber cloths. I'm not sure if the texture would work for her because I'm not sure what her what sensory issues she has. But you can get them at TJ Maxx. You can get knockoff ones. You can get them at Ulta. Ulta makes their own brand. You could try that and like dampen the makeup eraser and wring it out. So it's just like a lightly damp cloth and either maybe see if she would use a cleanser and then she could use the makeup eraser to like wipe it off the way a makeup wipe would wipe and maybe then do a second run of a clean makeup eraser to like or a
Yeah.
second cleanse. There are things and we have a Discord. Let me see if I can post it again. Joby, if you would like to join, I bet there's even more people might have more advice or I can go more in depth of what I'm talking about when I say a makeup eraser.
And
Um,
also keep in mind that even if makeup wipes are the devil, you have a different situation.
that
And
too.
if that works, then
That
do that.
too. Yes,
Because,
thank
like,
you.
just because it's like, listen, me and Emily say this all the time, the amount of waste that us as individuals put out is nowhere near the amount of waste that corporations put out. If makeup
Yes.
wipes have worked for you and have worked for, then do that. If you have given her makeup wipes and she has been able to do that, then do that. There's
Yes.
no reason for you to, like, change your whole, because you know autism is very difficult to mess with people and change what they're used to.
Yeah.
I understand that to an interesting degree, but, like, you can't just go around changing
That
things if
too.
it's not what you want to. Sensory
Yeah.
issues, like, it is very slow. So
Yeah.
don't feel like you have to immediately remove because you found out this. That
Yeah.
like that goes into our pet peeve. Just because you found that out doesn't mean you have to
Yeah.
end it. You don't have to stop something that's working for you.
Now I
And
think
I'm
Jovi
always going to say that.
did mention something about skin issues, like maybe acne or cystic acne, or maybe I saw that somebody else. So if she is having skin issues, I understand wanting to try to make it better, but at the same time as well, if the sensory issues are big enough that the choice is either let her have peace using her makeup wipes, or like basically traumatize her with trying to change it over. Like, let her have peace.
Yeah. Yes, please. Because yeah, those hormonal breakdowns and
Yeah.
almost all of us like and that's the other thing about skincare and even makeup that bothers me astronomically so are the amount of people who do not pay attention to the changes in their body and the changes in their hormone levels as to why products or foundation or something
Yeah.
is not working. And it's like, they're like it was working so well and then it just stopped. I'm like, pause, pause. Were you on your period? Were you starting your period? Were your hormones acting crazy? Like, was any of that
Yeah.
happening? Because that's why it doesn't work right now.
Also, you don't even have to get periods to have hormonal changes. Like, as somebody,
Correct.
I don't have cycles. I don't get period, or I don't get traditional, what you would consider a traditional period. I still have times where I'm like, my body is not normal. It's hormones. Like, and obviously I'm not a medical professional, but I'm just saying, like, there are things, especially as women, and I'm sure men deal with it as well. But I think estrogen is a weird, wild thing to deal with.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you
Estrogen is
know,
not your friend.
no. This is also why I got really sketched out by the amount of soy in like granola bars, like all this, like not like soy sauce and like tofu, but like soy, I guess
Yep.
soy protein being added to so many different food products. Like, this was started probably 10, 15 years ago now, but I remember hearing about how soy interacts with estrogen production. And I was
I
like,
felt the same way about soy facial cleansers because Fresh has that soy facial cleanser, which did
yeah,
not do shit for my face, by the way.
yeah.
Nothing came off my
No, it's
face
a
when I used
weird,
that.
it's not
And
a
it
good,
felt strange.
it,
It felt like I was
yeah.
rubbing man
Okay, yes,
happy juice
yes.
on my
It
face.
was like well, no,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Man expulsion. Can I say that? Male expulsion. Felt like I was rubbing male
that too.
expulsion on my face.
Yeah, I did not like the soy cleanser. Yes, exactly. You are the expert about what your body is doing. So,
Yeah. So just
uh,
the to really like I guess sum this all up because I'm gonna have to start going to bed because it's hair day
same.
tomorrow. But just to
Ah,
sum all this stuff up, I guess really what we're saying is, like Tracy said, do what works for you. I know that it becomes so tempting when you hear the gurus telling you to do XYZ. It's one of the reasons why I like to just, I do get ready with me and not like how the fuck you do makeup. You do makeup however you want to, whatever works for you,
yes,
whatever makes you happy. But the realization is when it comes to your skin, only you are going to know what's working for you. Only you're going to be able to figure it out. And if I come on here tomorrow and tell you that the toner you have I think sucks, keep using it because it's working well for you. If you also notice it sucks, then you're like, great, it wasn't just me. And
yeah,
that's what I like to watch like skincare
yeah,
YouTube for. Is that I'm like, cool, it wasn't just me that disliked this product. These
yeah.
other people did too. But I'm not using it so much as a determining factor as to whether or not I need to suddenly throw away my entire skincare cabinet. Menstruation.
Because here's the thing, is that especially when you're using social media as a point of comparison or as a learning tool, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, there is a high, in my opinion, there is now a high likelihood of coming across creators who are getting paid to say bad shit about products.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a rarity. I know that was something that kind of got revealed when Marlena Stell did her "I'm the Victim" video. That's another video altogether.
Okay, good.
But I do think that there are times when people shit talk something and then in that same video talk positively about something else. I still think that that's a high likelihood of like brands sponsoring negative reviews to try
Yeah.
to push down their competitors. And I think it's important to like, you also, you might not feel like you're the expert of your own skin. That's also okay.
Yeah.
But everyone else is even less of an expert. Everyone else
Exactly.
knows even less about your skin than you do. So
Correct.
you, in your skin, you are still the expert. So yeah,
Yes.
It's all about your experience and trying to separate placebo from what's really happening too.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say that every time. Start slow, especially if you're trying new stuff. Start slow,
Yes.
build your way up to what you're trying to get to. Read what it is that you're trying to do, not the claims, what the ingredients
Yes.
actually do. If you're trying to, have less wrinkles, and oh, my final pet peeve, my
Hmm.
final one. I don't care. I'm a fan of fillers, but don't come here with your filler ass face trying to tell me about how something works so marvelously on your skin because you have fillers, which changes the conversation. And on that note,
We could have a whole other conversation about influencers with plastic surgery and fillers and young influencers
yes,
selling
ma'am.
skincare.
Yes, ma'am.
That should be for another night because that's a
It
whole
should.
other conversation. So thank you all
Thank all of you.
66 of you
I know.
here.
Go to bed.
Go to
Baby's about to go to bed.
bed, do your skincare, take your makeup off, all of this. Yeah. And yes, I'm just gonna agree with it's okay to use disability aids to do what you need to do. Do what you
Hmm.
need to do. But just remember that you are the expert of your own body.
Yes. You are the
Awesome.
architect of your body. Damn it.
There
You
we
know what
go.
it does. You know
Thank
what it
you.
does.
Even if you don't, you know better than everyone else. And
Thank you.
on that note, Tracy, agreed. We shall talk about that on another night. I'm gonna
We
click
will.
end.